Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt here with Backwoods Ministry. It is currently 9:06, 9:07 p.m. Tuesday, March the 26th of 2024, year of our Lord. And just wanted to hop on here, and I'm actually gonna start a little mini series, I guess you could say. I'm gonna give y'all the rundown of everything that's gone on in the past 2.5 or 3 years. And I know my last video I told y'all that I was gonna be getting on here more. I was gonna start back on my videos within the next month or so. Well, I'm actually gonna start right now. My last day at my full-time job was supposed to be this coming up Thursday, March 28th. Well, that got pushed up, and yeah, I'll explain that in a later video, but it got pushed up. My last day at my full-time job was actually this past Thursday, and that was the hand of God at work doing that. But it's for the better, man. It's for the better. But anyway, man, I want to get on here, and I just want to fill y'all in on what's been going on in my life for the past 2.5, 3 years. You know, I've been on here a few times in the past 2 or 3 years, but it's been very sporadic, very. And you know, if I sat here and told you that I've been going to church and paying attention to prophecy and everything like I should be, I'd be telling you a bold-faced lie. I'm actually in a new season in my life, and I do still believe that God's perfect will for me is to be a watchman on the wall. I still believe that, but I also believe that the Lord has pushed me to do something different in my life than what I have been doing. Not necessarily with ministry, but just in my life, in my personal life, my career, my family, my home life, everything. And he's pretty much rewritten everything for me. And it all started, I'm going all the way back to the beginning here, guys. It all started back in 2020. I want to say it was the summer of 2020. You know, everybody knows what happened in at the very end of 2019 and early 2020. You know, the world was faced with what we thought was a crisis, and it was actually, in my opinion, it was actually a crisis that was man-made. You know. And I'm not talking about the illness, you know, I'm talking about the way everyone reacted to that illness. And I'm not sitting here saying that it's not real, so don't think I'm doing that. I'm not. I know a lot of good people that lost their lives due to that. But I also think that the numbers were fudged a little bit. And I think that I think that a lot of things were just mishandled, period, point blank. And there's no other way to put it. And I've got to be very careful with what I say. I'm hoping that y'all can read between the lines. And my page already has several strikes against it. A lot of my videos have been deleted from the past 4 or 5 years. And at one point I had 0 videos left in my library. None. All of them got deleted. But it is what it is, man, you know. But anyway, it all started back in the summer of 2020. I went to a prophecy conference with my mother at a very large church here in the Augusta, Georgia area. And my mom used to be a member of that church. My aunt still is. I have a cousin that is, along with a second cousin that is, and my cousin's husband that is, and I also know a lot of good people that still go to that church. And I'm not knocking that church at all. It's ran by good people, and it's just not my style of church. I'm a very old soul. I like going to church. I like attending churches that has a preacher that's going to stand on that stage and step on my toes and tell me that I'm a sinner and that I'm a lowlife and that I'm no good. And that's what I need. I need to be held accountable. And but I think that these, and let me clear this up. I'm not saying this a church like Joel Osteen's church. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying this a health and prosperity church. I haven't attended this church enough to know whether it is or not. I don't think it is. So I want to clear that up. I don't want to make any bad names or anybody that might see this video. I don't want anybody to get upset with what I'm saying, because I'm really not trying to offend anybody, and I'm not saying anything negative about this church. It's just not my style. This church is more about teaching the milk of the gospel, and I'm a guy that needs the meat of the gospel. And I'm more of a hellfire and brimstone kind of guy. This church is not. This church is more about preaching the love of God, and that's fine. We need to hear that too. But yeah, I went to a prophecy conference at that church, and when I say prophecy conference, I'm not talking about end time prophecy. I'm talking about modern day, what I thought was self-proclaimed prophets. Well, like I say, I'm an old soul. I got darn mosquitoes flying around out here in the garage, guys. If you see me waving my hand around like that, just ignore it, man. My garage was open before it rained. It's raining cats and dogs outside right now, and I've got all my equipment out here, and I keep the garage door open when I'm out here fooling with it to have some airflow in here. But and the mosquitoes have infiltrated my garage. But anyway, I was attending that conference. It was a prophecy conference, and basically the way it worked was it's a guy from South Africa and his one of his assistants, and they're both prophets. And I've never believed in self-proclaimed modern day prophets. I've always been the type that thought that prophets, the last prophet lived when the apostle Paul passed. I thought he was the last prophet. But you never know. I learned a valuable lesson over the past 3 years. You never know what God is going to have somebody do, okay? What God is going to use someone for. And who am I to sit here and say that God has not given another man a word? And I've definitely been proven wrong on that over the past 3 years. But he pointed me out in a crowd, and he made me stand up, and he asked me, he said, what do you do for a living? I told him, I said, I drive a truck. And he said, are you happy with your career? I said, no, I'm not happy at all. And he said, you're the type of guy, your mouth gets you in trouble. You stick out in a crowd. You stand up for what you believe in. And he described me to a T. He really did. And I figured, yeah, whatever, coincidence. And I told him, I said, yeah, that's true. All that is true that you're saying right now. And he said, well, that's not what God has in store for you. His plan for you is to be a leader of men or a CEO of a company. Look, man, I'm just a dumb country boy from a little small town right outside of Augusta, Georgia called Hepzibah, okay? I'm about as backwoods redneck as it gets. I really am. And my education stops at high school graduation, okay? I have a high school diploma. That's it. I'm not a very educated man. I went to a small town public school right outside of Augusta, Georgia, and finished somewhere in the middle of my class. Probably the lower middle of my class. But, I didn't care about grades coming up, I meet up with common sense. Don't get me wrong, okay? I meet up with common sense, but I never cared about grades, never cared about school. I was that guy, you know. I like to hang out with all of my buddies, get drunk, get high, chase women. I played sports in high school. Uh, Grades and schoolwork, academics, that never appealed to me. Never appealed to me. Well, of course, you know I was saved in 2019, so I am a follower of Christ Jesus. But then, you know, ever since that day, everything changed. Everything changed. I have not been the same person that I was before January 7th, 2019. But during the pandemic, I kind of backslid a little bit. Everything that went on in the world, you know, I found myself full of rage, getting mad about things that I can't control, uh, using the Lord's name in vain with other cuss words a lot, uh, just doing things that Christians shouldn't be doing. And I found myself doing that a lot. And this conference, you know, when that man told me I was going to be a CEO, or supposed to be a CEO or a leader of men, I just kind of brushed it off. I'm like, all right, yeah, this guy's gone nuts. That's not me. I'm not built to be anything like that. And but I do remember one time before that. It was when I first got saved. My cousin's husband prayed over me, and he told me that he had a word from the Lord for me, and basically told me the same thing, that I was supposed to be a leader of men, multiple men, not just one or two, but multiple men. And I never thought nothing of it, but that's the second person that has told me that within about a year and a half stretch there. Well, I just went with it, you know, did what I had to do to appease my mom, to kind of quiet her down a little bit, get off my back about going to church with her and things like that. And that's normally what happens when a outsider goes to church. They go just to quiet whoever it is that's pestering them about going. Well, prophecy conference ended. We went to the Cracker Barrel, ate. Several of us went and ate. And my wife's never been into the whole prophecy thing, so she didn't go. Wasn't her cup of tea. And churches like that, they're not really her cup of tea either. She's more of a hellfire and brimstone kind of person as well, kind of like me. You know, we're both old souls. And both of us love the Lord too, by the way. My wife is a born again Christian as well, and so I want to put that out there. My wife is a freaking saint. I'm not gonna lie, she really is, and she's actually the one that has helped me get through everything that has been going on the past 2.5, 3 years. But yeah, just wanted to start off and tell you about that at the prophecy conference. Well, toward the end of 2020, on into 21, you know, everything happened at the polls. Everything happened with the election. Got to be careful there what I say. Things happened. A lot of people were upset. A lot of people believe this. A lot of people believe that. I'm not going into detail. I've got to be extremely careful what I say. But you know where I'm going with that. And then the summer of 21, there was a procedure that was nearly mandated by the government. Thank God the U.S. Supreme Court shot it down, said it was unconstitutional. Well, my wife and I decided, before the Supreme Court ever shot it down, we decided, you know, I prayed about it. I prayed long and hard about it. I decided I was not going to comply with that government mandate. And my wife said the same. And our kids were not going to comply. So we were faced with a situation. We were faced with a choice we had to make. And because it was going to be that we were either going to do that or we were going to both lose our jobs. And so be it. We were just going to lose our jobs if we had to, but we were not going to comply. So I was left with a choice here. I told my wife, I said, we've got enough saved up. I can go buy a rig and I can start hauling containers to the port down in Savannah. I hear there's good money doing that, and you can keep your job for insurance until we get to a point where you can quit your job and I can afford to buy insurance. She said, absolutely not. And I said, okay, so what do you have up your sleeve? And she said, I'm fine with you starting your own business, but I need you home every night. I want my husband laying beside me in my bed every single night, and I need help with these children every single night. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, so what kind of ideas do you have? I need something here. And she said, well, you take a lot of pride in our yard. Have you ever thought about being a landscaper or starting your own lawn care company? And I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it. I said, I don't know what kind of money they make. I said, but evidently they make good money, because every landscaper around here, I see them riding around with nice equipment, nice vehicles, and all of them got all kinds of toys to play with. And I know 2 or 3. We don't discuss finances or anything like that, but I know 2 or 3, and all 3 of them have very nice homes. And I said, well, they evidently make good enough money to have a good lifestyle. I said, so surely it'll be enough for us to survive on. I said, that's not a bad idea. I said, but there's still a lot of money we're going to have to spend to start our business. And she said, well, we'll figure it out as we go. I said, okay. So we took some of our savings. We bought a residential mower, a residential zero-turn mower. We bought a used 6.5 by 10 foot single axle trailer. We financed a brand new truck. It's my everyday truck. What else? Bought a blower, and that was basically it. We had to get insurance, we had to get licensed, had to get an LLC, and we had to come up with a name and all that good stuff. So we did all that, and September of 2021 we became an official business. And this is the name of my business. I don't know if y'all can see that. My son actually created this logo for me. At the time he was 10, he's 11 now, but he created this online. Name of my business is Tanks Lawn Maintenance LLC, and it's just TLM inside of a white circle. The T is actually a wooden cross, and it has the Bible verse Titus 2:13 out beside it. And so September of 2021 we were underway. Now we had to figure out how to market our business. So we took every free avenue we could. We got on Facebook Marketplace. We got on every group that we could get on Facebook. And we created a Google business profile, which is absolutely free. If you're thinking about starting your own business, you should look into that, because it is a game changer. Well, it took a little bit, but I did some work in my yard, my own property, did some before and after pictures. And come fall, late fall, I want to say it was the day after Thanksgiving, I did a leaf cleanup in my yard, and took before pictures and then took after pictures and posted it online, or posted it on Facebook on our business page, and just put it out there. And my aunt actually shared that photo and told everybody. She said, this is my nephew, he just started his own business, he loves the Lord, and he's just trying to live the American dream. And a woman commented on it. It was actually a friend of hers that used to live next door to her. She commented on it and she said, I have some leaves in my yard I need cleaned up. She called me, and we got to talking or whatever. And my wife at the time, we did not have my truck. The only thing we had was, I had a 2002 Toyota 4Runner, didn't have a trailer hitch on it. My wife had a 2018 4Runner, hers had a trailer hitch. So we used her car to pull my equipment to this lady's house. And a job that should have only took us two and a half hours took us 8 hours. And my wife, God bless my wife, man, she is a rock star. She really is. She got out there and she hustled with me, and we cleaned this lady's yard up and cut her grass, did the final cut for the year on it. And her and I got to talking, me and the customer, we got to talking. She said I could really use someone to maintain my property for the year. She said, how much would you charge me? And I asked her what all she needed done. She said she needed weekly service year round. And I gave her a price and she jumped on it. And that's how it all started, word of mouth. And this lady has given me several leads. I still maintain her property to this day. And she was my very first customer, and she actually happens to be my very best customer. Every single service that I offer, she jumps on those services, and she is more than willing to support my business and my family. And she is a very sweet woman, her and her husband both. And so yeah, that was my first lead in my business, and it just took off from there. And had her house looking nice before the Christmas holidays got here, and come January 1, 2022, we started hitting the marketing trail hard. And at the end of January, I started getting leads. February rolled around, I started getting more leads. In March, my phone blew up. In April, I absolutely had zero time to do anything. If I wasn't working at my full-time job, I was working in my business. Well, I picked up pretty good that year, and I actually wound up picking up more business than what I ever dreamed I would. And we were kind of irresponsible. My wife and I, we were kind of irresponsible. My oldest daughter graduated high school, and we took a lavish vacation to give her as a graduation gift. And we also did other things that we've never been able to do. We had more money rolling in than we've ever had in our lives. And so we kind of took advantage of it a little bit. And looking back on it, I'm glad we did, because we made a lot of memories. But at the same time, it really wasn't smart. But anyway, I mean, it was just a good year for us. 2022 really was a good year. And for it to be our very first year, we learned a lot, and we succeeded. I looked at it as a success, and truthfully, it was a success. But 2022, that season ended, and I had just about all the work I could handle. Well, what normally happens in the lawn care industry, you're going to lose customers every year. You're going to lose some, and you're going to gain some every year. And it's just, all you can do is just keep doing quality work, keep doing what you say you're going to do, and just be honest with people. And don't try to be something that you're not. Well, that worked out for me. And in between 2022 and 23, that winter, I had, well, let me go back. I want to say it was the end of September of 2022. I got in a horrible accident. It was actually a life-changing accident, and I nearly killed a woman, and she was at fault. But I was driving a tractor trailer, and I was doing 65, and she pulled out in front of me. I was less than 30 yards from her. She pulled out in front of me in an intersection and came to a complete stop, and there was absolutely nothing I could do. and I ran slap into the passenger side of her vehicle and messed her up pretty bad. And she survived, and the company is still dealing with that right now, going through lawsuits and everything else. Well, I want to say it was December. It was either December or January. That winter, I had an event happen on a Wednesday morning. Wednesday at my full-time job was always my lightest day. You know, I put out a lot of videos on Wednesday. You know, a lot of you would see me sitting in a truck waiting on a customer to get to a restaurant, and that would give me time to put out a video. Well, Wednesday was always my lightest day. I'd get to work 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and I'd normally be done around lunchtime. Well, one particular day on a Wednesday, I woke up, did my normal routine. You know, I said my morning prayers, took a shower, brushed my teeth, and as I was standing there brushing my teeth, the Lord spoke to me. And if you remember in the Bible, I cannot remember for the life of me which prophet it was. It was either, I can't remember if it was Ezekiel, Jeremiah, or Daniel, but the Lord referred to him as the Son of Man. And I don't think it was Daniel, because Daniel was always obedient to God. But in this particular case, you know, there's two instances in the Bible where the Lord referred to someone as Son of Man. It was either referring to himself as the Son of Man, Jesus being the Son of Man, and but he also referred to a prophet as Son of Man. And I want to say it was Jeremiah, but I'm not sure. And in this term, or in this sense, it was kind of a derogatory term, basically saying, if you were a son of mine, you would be obedient to me and listen to me and do what I command. But you're not, so you're a son of man. And that's the way I take it anyway when I read that. And I could be wrong on that. I'm not a scholar, I'm not a pastor or anything like that. But I was standing there brushing my teeth, and I heard in a loud voice, Son of Man. And it spooked me. It made the hair on my neck stand up. And I looked up, looked in the mirror, had toothpaste dripping out of my mouth with a toothbrush sticking out of my mouth. And I looked around, and, you know, I'm thinking I'm losing my mind here, you know. So I wiped the sleep out of my eyes, go back to brushing my teeth, and I hear it again. And this time I heard it loud and clear, and I thought somebody was in my house. I mean, literally, I thought somebody was in my house. It scared me. It scared me pretty good. And so I grabbed my pistol and I started clearing rooms in my house, thinking somebody was in my house. So nobody was there. I finished brushing my teeth, got my clothes on, got all my stuff together, went to work, and heard it again on the way to work. Son of Man. And by this time, I'm freaking out. I'm talking about freaking out. And I know a lot of you probably think I'm crazy and that I'm full of it, but I'm telling you, this really happened. And this is an audible voice. It's the only time it's ever happened to me. And but at this point, the third time I heard it, you know, I'm freaking out. And I don't know what to think, you know. Well, get to work, get all my stuff together, get in the truck, get to my first stop. Didn't hear nothing on the way to my first stop. Work my first stop. Get ready to head, or I'm heading to my second stop. And there's about a 35-minute drive from my first stop to my second stop. And sorry guys, that was rude. A little sleepy out here. But I hear it again. And this time I know exactly what it is. So I turn the radio down. And I said, God, is that you? And when I said that, he said, what is it going to take for you to listen to me? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to have to be more clear. And he said, I've sent 2 of my servants to tell you what my will is for you. I placed you in the right place at the right time to try to humble you, and you still fail to listen to me. What is it going to take? And I said, I don't understand what you mean, Lord. I really don't understand what you mean. I didn't hear it no more. After that, I was scared to death. Scared to death. My hair's standing up. I got goosebumps all over my body. And I'm freaking out. Trying not to get in a wreck. Trying not to turn the truck over. I'm so scared, freaking out. And my mind is going 100 miles an hour, Well, I worked my next 3 stops. And the whole time my mind is thinking, and then it hits me. You're wanting me to leave my job. I get out the truck at a gas station that I'm getting ready to deliver to. Time I got out the truck, I said, God, I said, if you're wanting me to leave my job, you're going to have to give me a sign, and you're going to have to make it crystal clear. And time I got the word clear out of my mouth, I mean immediately after it came out of my mouth, I felt my right boot just loosen up all of a sudden. And I looked down, my shoelace was busted right in the middle. Right in the middle. I'm not talking about in the knot or at the bottom or the whatever, I'm talking about right in the middle of my shoelace. It was busted. It's a place that just doesn't bust. And I've never, I've been a blue collar worker for 20 plus years. I've never busted a shoelace. Never. My shoelace busted. I said, okay, this is weird. Now I'm really scared. And I told him, I said, God, I got done working that stop. I got back in the truck, and I'm nearly about to cry. I said, God, I don't know how to do this. I said, this is the dead middle of winter. I'm not doing anything right now. I said, I barely have enough work to even be worth my while getting up on the weekends. I said, I cannot quit my job right now. I said, I have a family to feed. I have bills to pay. I have a family to support. And there's no grass to be cut this time of year. I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know how you expect me to do this. I said, I cannot quit my job right now. When I said that, he spoke to me again. He said, how can I provide for you if you won't trust me? And that was the last thing he said to me. That was the last thing he said to me. And I knew it was God. I knew it was God. And it really hurt me. It cut me. It cut me deep. And it made me look at things. I texted my wife. I told her, I said, we need to talk. And normally if I text my wife something like that, her first thought is, oh gosh, what has he done concocted now? What has he done? Get home. And like I said, my wife, she loves the Lord too. She's a born-again Christian, just like I am. But at the same time, she's a realist, okay? She's eat up with common sense just like I am, and you're not going to pull one over on her. And in her defense, if someone would have come to me with this nonsense, I'd have probably reacted the same way she did. Get home, call her up to my bedroom. I said, I think I'm supposed to quit my job. And she freaked out. She said, and do what? And do what? Cut grass? Where are you going to cut grass right now? It's January. There ain't no grass to cut. It's wintertime. There's nothing you can do. How are we supposed to pay our bills? And it's funny now. It's funny now looking back on it. It wasn't funny at the time. It wasn't funny at all at the time because I was stuck between a rock and a very hard spot. Very hard spot, man. I had God in one ear and I had my wife in the other. And that's the two people I love the most. So what do I do, Well, I know God's not going to hurt me, but my wife knows where I sleep, so yeah. So I did what any earthly man would do, I did what the boss lady said. I went to work the next day. Didn't make no bones about it. And I'll tell you what, the summer of 2023 was a blessing and it was a curse. It was just flat out off the chain. But this is where I'm gonna leave y'all hanging, and I will catch y'all on the next video, and we'll go over what happened next in 2023. But anyway, yeah, don't have much to talk about when it comes to Bible prophecy. If I'm being 100% honest here, I haven't really had a whole lot of time to keep up with it. The only time I even get to listen to podcasts or the news or anything is if I'm in an 18-wheeler driving 2 or 3 hours. And so, yeah, I haven't done that since last Thursday. So, but I'm still praying, still reading the Bible, and we are not on Resurrection Sunday. We're not going to go to any sunrise service or anything like that. I just don't feel right showing up to a church service knowing good and well that they're going to have dinner on the ground and everything when I haven't been in 7 or 8 months. I'm not doing that. But the weekend after Easter, we're going to be back in church, and we're actually going to try another church. The last church we went to, I fell in love with that church. My wife likes that church, and my son loves that church. But my 2 daughters aren't fans of it, and I get it, you know. So we're going to try another church that's more appealing to the entire family, and I'm going to see what they're all about. I'm probably going to go by myself first weekend just to see what they're all about, what they're preaching, and just to make sure that they're doctrinally sound, and that they're preaching the gospel, the real gospel. But and then we'll go from there. But anyway, guys, I hope y'all have been well. I do. It's been a while, and we're good. Got a lot going on right now. It's a very exciting time in our lives, and we're just in a new season right now, and don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna trust God and we're gonna embrace it. But anyway, man, I will catch y'all on the next video. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or the next day, but y'all be looking out for it. But until then, man, y'all keep looking up, because your redemption indeed draweth nigh. Love y'all. Bye.